Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about a few gems, aka ISO 222 tokens. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys, could please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate that. Now, overall, as the market is bouncing around a little bit, we are really kind of addressing the macro view here, right? Like, when we talk about ISO 222 tokens, a lot of people are a little bit, sort of confused on which ones are actually compliant, because not all of them, say that they are compliant. Like, for an example, like QNT is one of the coins that I would say is ISO 222 compliant, without it actually saying that it is. Now, XRP, XLM, even Algorand, right, are fairly strong tokens. I always talk about XRP, XLM a lot. XDC does not get enough spotlight. We're actually going to be talking about XDC in this video. XLM, I'm going to just briefly, talk about slightly, and then there's also HBAR. So HBAR is not ISO 222 compliant, but again, similar to QNT, I foresee it being so. We're going to be talking about that and really kind of addressing a lot of these tokens. So let's just jump in and let's talk about why I do believe that a lot of these tokens are set to be huge, especially within this decade. So first off, let's address a few things. So in terms of a lot of the tokens that we do see on a day-to-day basis in this market, a lot of them don't really have major use case value. Arguably, you could say the same thing about Bitcoin. In terms of speculation, there's not a lot of use case value behind it. Again, you could say whatever you want about a lot of these tokens, but the idea is that we are still very early within this market. We don't know exactly where this market is, leading to. What we can do is speculate a little bit on where it is leading to. I've been seeing a lot of concerns around Bitcoin lately. It's been focused on sustainability, energy use. Is it green? Will it ever be green? Is it this? Is it that? Right? And there's also another leading cause behind a lot of this, and that is, and we are going to center on XRP here, regulations. Regulatory clarity is coming for this space. I foresee regulations being put in place by the end of 2022. I also think that this is the year where we did see a major impact within the financial institutional area, where we are waiting for, again, the door to be unlocked and that capital to flow in. I have been addressing this for a while in terms of the XRP SEC lawsuit, where I have been saying, it's basically, nearing that ending catalyst event where we will see, again, a settlement happen. Now, as we watch this unfold, as we do see, regulations being kind of ushered into crypto, we really look at one leading area, and that is ISO 222. Now, I think that a lot of people are kind of confused around this. All this really means is it's a messaging format for the payment systems of all reserve currencies, as you guys do see up at the top. It's basically the de facto standard for high-value payment systems for all reserve currencies. It's a messaging format. Now, we do see by 2023, ISO 222 will account for 80% of volumes of high-value transactions, 87% of value of high-value transactions as well. Now, when we look at this, a lot of this is saying that, this is basically going to be the new messaging format to utilize. We do see countries and regions worldwide are migrating at a different pace for many banks, and the migration will happen in various stages during a period of up to 5 years. It's going to take some time, and you guys do see this includes, plus how many countries are already using ISO 222 in their payment systems. Several low-value and instant payment schemes have already migrated to ISO 222, and you do see the timeline in terms of 2022 itself, and where we pretty much are waiting for that major turning, key shift, if you will. And of course, with plus 200 payment types in scope, ISO 222 will bring a number of benefits. Now, as we look into this, obviously, a lot of people think that this is going to pump the prices of these tokens drastically. QNT is going to explode in value. XRP is going to explode in value. No. But what this does do, right, because a lot of these tokens are already ISO 222 compliant, it allows for these messaging payment formats and systems to actually interconnect with these digital assets. Meaning, as we do kind of move forward on, we will most likely see those bridges being built out within the traditional payment system to interconnect with, of course, crypto, designed payment formats and infrastructures. Now, as we do see this, we have been seeing a lot of, talks around tokens similar to QNT. We actually do see here in the next 24 months, central banks will unleash CBDCs. Bitcoin will be legal tender in 3 to 5 countries. DeFi will hit $1 trillion in total value locked. Visa will launch universal payment channels, and there will still only be one system capable of connecting them all, and that is QNT. Now, I have been addressing and talking to you guys about QNT for a very long time as being the rails that will be, laid out to interconnect pretty much all, aspects of finance to one. This means DeFi, CeFi, traditional finance, it will all be interconnected through one major platform, which will essentially be over Ledger. Now, this will connect almost everything. We actually see this being the connectivity between existing networks, enterprise permission blockchains, and public permission blockchains. I've said it time and time again that QNT definitely should be a spotlighted, asset to hold in all portfolios. I see this being the early stages of, a Bitcoin at $100, right? Now, as I've addressed this and talked to you guys about it, a lot of people were, saying, how do you know this? Is this all speculated? Well, it is the only asset to truly be able to, connect them all. It is patent technology, and it has been proven through, partnerships like SIA and even Oracle. And honestly, when we look at what has been happening within this market around adoption within CBDCs, DeFi, even, Visa joining in and MasterCard joining in on crypto adoption, I see this feature being printed clearly now, especially within, DLTs, right? DLTs have been a huge portion of the piece of the puzzle, right? And as we even see this, like we've seen the Digital Pound Foundation, right? Now, this was, moving towards a CBDC within, again, the UK through a digital pound. Now, as we did see this, there was a few names that got mentioned here. Ripple, Quant, Accenture, Avalanche, Electroneum, and a few other ones. But I do want to focus on Ripple and QNT for a second. So as these two are vital pieces of the puzzle, how will this essentially work? Well, to me, when we look at this, right, here's the team behind this. There's, of course, Ripple and, QNT and things like that. There's a ton of individuals here. But when we look at this, I believe that QNT will be the rails that interconnect, again, the CBDC to the traditional network that is running within that jurisdiction, meaning the legacy systems that, currently the UK runs on will be interconnected through Quant's technology to, again, the CBDC platform, which will run on a ledger, aka Ripple. We all know, works with the XRP ledger. So again, that will be that private ledger technology that will facilitate a CBDC issuance, which will be interconnected through Quant. This is how I foresee a lot of this, connectivity and, building out of the future of finance really kind of taking place. Now, these two have been confirmed working together for a while. And when we look at CBDCs, we know that CBDCs are moving very rapidly. I actually showed you guys this graph going as far back as January 2014, when we did start to see this kind of become a new thing. A lot of people were kind of concerned about this. They were really kind of looking at it. I think that this is the time where things really kind of rapidly started to shift, especially around digital currencies and CBDCs and things like that. For anyone that wasn't in the market during this time, it's okay. You're not late. We are still very, very early within the stage. I would say when we are looking at things happening right now within this market, I think that now is the perfect time to really kind of position ourselves within a lot of these, utility gems before things rapidly shift, especially to, the next major stepping stone within this market, which is a utility-driven market. Now, as you guys do see, from 2014 to 2017, in 3 years, it rapidly shifted. Again, in another 3 years, you guys do see them moving from, research to proof of concept to even pilots. And by now, during this time currently, we are seeing a lot more, proof of concepts, pilots, and even launch products, being a real thing. We will evidently more and more see this graph kind of be filled out to the point where we do see pilots and launched fully, on the chart. I see this happening within probably the next 3 years. By 2025, we're going to see a very, very different view of this, tracker. I'm going to be watching this throughout the time, of course, and really kind of addressing the changes that happen over time. But I do think that now's the time to definitely look into a lot of these ISO 222 tokens. I think that as we do see regulations being put in place, we are going to be seeing things like the liquidity hub from Ripple, which I've mentioned multiple times, being a spotlight. In fact, this is going to allow for, again, a lot of capital to flow in through institutional clients and businesses themselves that really kind of want to utilize crypto, but also offer crypto, to their clients. And of course, this is fully interoperable as well, which I would say that this possibly does have hands with, quants, but you could say that this is also just through Interledger Protocol as well, which Ripple has built. So it's hard to say if Quant is going to be working with them on this, but this also solidifies where we are really kind of leading to, which is, of course, offering massive amounts of capital through crypto to these financial institutions that will accelerate the growth of crypto. Crypto is very early still within this stage. Now, also, I have shown you guys, XLM, Stellar, right? Stellar is basically being utilized for stablecoin issuance, but also remittances and things like that within cross-border payments. Also, they could facilitate CBDC issuance as well, similar to, XRP. Stellar is definitely a key player as well. I've always said that, with XRP's movements, usually XLM does follow slightly behind. Obviously, Algorand's here. We do see, HBAR being, listed as well, rumored to be compliant. HBAR as well, and even ADA. Here's XDC and Algorand as well. IOTA. These are some key players. API 3 should also be on this list, but obviously it's not. But as we do look at HBAR, I do see HBAR being a leading name as well. HBAR has been absolutely killing the game in terms of really kind of focusing on, cryptocurrency policy within regulations, but also, even in terms of sustainability. I think that Hedera definitely should be a leading name in your portfolio as well. Everyone is really kind of talking about how this, is underperforming in terms of price, but they are also building out a very strong DLT ecosystem, and their network is doing very, very great things, especially as we do kind of usher in, policy within crypto. Now, also, we did see XDC and QNT kind of working together. QNT has their hand in almost every single, asset that I have invested in. It's funny that QNT does have partnerships, or I shouldn't say partnerships, but like connections with almost every other asset that I did invest in. But this is basically, XDC, QNT sponsoring the Financial Times Crypto and Digital Assets Summit, probably nothing. We do see, XDC is sponsoring the Financial Times Crypto and Digital Assets Summit, which will host some of the biggest names in DeFi plus CeFi. These bridges are being, built out. When we look at Quant and when we look at like even XDC, these two are building bridges in some critical areas. XDC, I have been mentioning XDC a lot because it is targeting a $19 trillion, market. Trade finance is an area that is ripe for disruption, and Zinfin is definitely one that's really positioned themselves perfectly within that, market. Obviously, Quant, could have their hands in the pot with that, providing interoperability. It's hard to say right now. We haven't really seen any sort of, leading factors within that area, but this was one that I figured was pretty interesting to name because XDC and QNT are named side by side as sponsors for this. And obviously with XDC, again, when we look at this, XDC is definitely a sleeping giant. I think that this is one that has been overlooked for a very long time. Through Impel, they basically built out this bridge with Corda, but we do see enterprise-ready hybrid blockchain for global finance. The XDC network, created and maintained by Zinfin Fintech, is an open-source enterprise-ready hybrid blockchain protocol that specializes in tokenization for real-world decentralized finance. And again, you guys could read this. I thought that the biggest thing to really mention here was, again, with interoperable smart contracts and near zero fee transactions and military grade security, the XDC network is designed to support a wide range of novel blockchain use cases. Specifically, I want to focus on the main one, which is trade finance. As Zinfin really kind of builds out that area, I do think that they will disrupt trade finance greatly, which is a $19 trillion market, like I said. Zinfin's not even at, a $1 billion market cap currently, which is funny to say the least when you look at the true value that really kind of will proceed with Zinfin. Now, Again, when we look at ISO 222, we know that XinFin is, compliant. XinFin definitely, in my opinion, will play a key role within this. And like I said, they do have that R3 Corda bridge. R3 Corda is a huge name, especially within, the high tier clients listings for a lot of, high tier names within their ecosystem. And again, they do have that bridge between XinFin and Corda. There's just so much going on with a lot of these ISO 222 tokens that I don't think a lot of people are really kind of focused on. It's all centered around tokenization and moving towards, a new age of finance. But as we do kind of focus on CBDCs and things, there's also many other areas that these assets are disrupting. Q&T building out interoperability with, healthcare and other things within the Internet of Things. There's a lot of things that people are not paying attention to behind a lot of these networks that I think that a lot of people should wake up to. I think that everyone's really kind of just focused on price, which is fine. I get it. But on the macro view, we're going to see a lot more money flowing into this market. We are still very early with this market only being at a $2 trillion market cap, spread out between 19,000 cryptocurrencies, which is, vast when you look at the actual, legitimate projects being built within the space. I foresee a lot of assets really kind of, disappearing as regulations do come into the space. That's when we will see capital flowing into a lot of these utility gems. That's also when I do foresee utility being, a key player within this market as well. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.